All right, so let's start the meeting. Officially welcome everyone to the 1008th meeting of Karachi Toastmasters Club, and this is another Academy session. What is the Academy session? It is an advanced format meeting that is set apart by a few factors. The first is that it always has a keynote, and it can be on any topic, and it doesn't have to be by a member. We have hosted quite a few people to host for keynotes over the past year or so. Secondly, it has advanced format evaluations, which means that every speech is immediately evaluated by a panel after the speech. But there is another point of difference at KTC Academy that I discovered only recently. And thanks to DTM Cynthia and some others, I came to know that all around the world, advanced evaluations means that the evaluators can be ruthless, they can be abrasive, they have the freedom to pretty much say anything they want. And DTM Cynthia said to me that that's why I always run away from advanced format meeting, because I absolutely cannot agree with that approach. So, and our evaluations, the evaluations at KTC were set apart by the fact that we have the exact same approach. Yes, we are a little more incisive, a little more detailed, but that does not give us a license to be offensive. So that is something that we stumbled upon without even knowing. And that is also thanks to the KTC members, because it's hard to imagine any KTC member to be abrasive or to be offensive. So, and that's why she said that you guys have the best advanced evaluations I've seen anywhere. So those who know her would realize that coming from her, that is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I'm the de facto president because Madam President will not be attending the meeting today, and she authorized me to preside over the meeting. If anyone wants evidence, I can show the WhatsApp also. So, so I welcome you all to this meeting, and without further ado, just a heads up. Once again, we have three projects today. The Keynote is also a project, and in case we have missing evaluators, we will perhaps either curtail the scope of panel evaluation, or we will ask Toastmaster Shamam, who is conveniently here. So, yeah, you heard that right. So, with that, I hand over the charge now to our beloved Toastmaster of the day, who is more a member of Karachi Toastmasters Club without being officially a member of Karachi Toastmasters Club. And no, that's not a reminder for renewal. You can continue as it is. So over to you, DTM Saab, our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Tala bin Hamid, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests. A very good morning to you, and a very good evening to distinguished Toastmaster Sarfaraz Naseer. Hope you're all having a fine and powerful start to the weekend. So this Academy session is actually the first one that I'm the Toastmaster of the day. So yes, I'm a bit out of color. So the Academy session actually has a keynote, and then it's followed by projects, and then at the end we have the normal general evaluation session. So no table topics for for those people who just come in only for the table topics. So we also have a team of role holders who will who will actually play the roles of the meeting facilitators, and the first one is the language evaluator, who is distinguished Toastmaster Talab bin Hamid. So over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. So as a language evaluator, I will be hearing what is said in the meeting and of course, try to identify grammatical errors and also structural aspects. It is less about catching errors and suggesting correction and more about learning together about advanced usage of language. So this is a difference between language evaluator and the grammarian. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off or not, but it's supposed to be a more in-depth look at the language use in the meeting. And the focus is more on highlighting the technical aspects, grammatical aspects, and also how it all relates to the speech in general. So that's what I'll be trying to do. Over to you, DTM sir.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Talab bin Hamid. And the next role is of the timer, and it will be played by Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. So over to you, sir.
Toastmaster of the day and fellow distinguished guest, a good morning, greetings to everyone. My role as a timer is to time the speaker's allotted time for to deliver the project. As for example, the keynote speech is from 12 to 15 minutes. So it will be a green light, which I will be changing my background. At 12 minutes, it will be green. At 14, it will be yellow, and at 15, it will be red. Similarly, it will be same way for the projects, which is like 5 to 7 minutes prepared speech. 5, it will be green, yellow, it will be at 6, and then red at 7. All the speakers will have a 30 seconds of grace period before, which is like if a project is 5 to 7 minutes. So if the speaker ends at 4 minutes 30 seconds, it will be allowed. And if ends up at 7 minutes 30 seconds, it is allowed. Just a second more will be disqualified for voting. Accordingly, it will be for evaluations, and similarly followed by the question and answer sessions, which we will allot the time. And please monitor the screen of a timer, which will keep changing and alarming you for the time notification. Thank you very much, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali, for that elaborated role explanation, and he will be the only person who will tell us to please stop speaking. So we must be mindful of that. And thankfully, we don't have an R counter. So well done to the VP Education for protecting us from that misery. And now let's unleash the monster and by that, no, I don't actually mean the speaker, but the speech title of the keynote is "You Are the Monster." I don't know if that's me or anyone else, but yes, to actually elaborate on this on this amazing topic. We have an amazing keynote speaker, and she is Toastmaster Mariam Aftab Kidwai. So, Mariam Aftab Kidwai, you are the monster. You are the monster. Toastmaster Mariam Aftab Kidwai. Over to you.
Thank you so much. By the time I'll speak and I finish, I'm sure you will understand that you will get to know who is the monster. So now I'll be starting. Before starting, I just want to know if I'm clearly audible. Yeah, thank you. We all have one thing in common. We all have one thing in common, and that is the fear we all share. The fear of failure, the fear of making mistakes. But why do we have that? Why is that one thing that whenever we want to do something and whenever we are trying to do something, that one thing that stops us, and that is the fear. And trust me, your fear is your monster. That is sitting inside you. That is not letting you go out, letting you move forward, and letting you live your life the way you want. I also had one. Before moving forward, I would like to share my story. Well, back in my school days, I was a very shy student. I hardly come out of anything. I hardly raise my hand so my teacher wouldn't know that I exist in the class. I used to hide myself by just doing a little bow down that my teacher wouldn't see me. They would not let me know that there's me sitting over there, so they won't call me for anything. When I was in class 4, we were moved to a new branch. And in our school, there was a practice that we had to come on a stage, and we have to, every week, it's a class week celebration. And that week was our sections. Class 4A, come on. My teacher chose me to just say a verb, that's a phrase, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, which my daughter now every day sings along and eating apple. But at that time, that was too hard for me to even say that. My name was called upon in the assembly. I was standing in a line behind my fellow class students who were waiting for their role to play. There was a table topic sessions going on in the assembly too. At that time, I was very bad. I joined that. I was just standing and waiting for my name to be called upon. And what I had to do at that time was just I have to hold the mic and say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And what I did, Mariam Aftab, I grabbed the mic, stand there like, and an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And I remember I just give the mic away and run away in the line in my queue. And I don't know what happened. And at that time, I feel that everyone is watching me. Everyone somehow the other is laughing at me. Maybe they are talking about me. I cannot forget that day till now. But that was the day I realized I have some issues. Down the road, the only way I found out to get out of it was to not participate in it, any competition at all, or any stage show or anything like this. But kudos to my teacher. I just rolled up those things for 2 years more, but then I had to participate, and same thing happened. I was so shy, I could not even face the audience. I could not stand. I can feel my legs shivering and my voice shivering all the way. And I don't know what they were thinking. I still don't know. But that time I cared a lot about that. Maybe this Mariam would not, definitely. But that Mariam, which I think we all had once in our life, is that. Down the road, I somehow managed my school. Somehow I just came out of it. My college, oh my God. There I got some crazy friends. They taught me a life lesson that you don't have to worry about. And there I learned that through my friends. Dekha jayega. We'll see what happens. Let's bunk the class. We'll see what happens. Wow. I was just rolling around. And there I realized that during all these things, I missed one important thing. That was the focus on my studies. Yes, I wanted to change myself for the betterment of myself. I did change myself. I did fight all those fears, but I do not have the right weapons at that time. Later, when I got entered into my university, oh my God, then the presentation sections start. I was so shocked that now I had to give a presentation, and that time it was only 5-10 minutes. Yes, it was at that time 5 minutes presentation I had to give. It was the first time, and everyone said, Mariam, you'll do it. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. Because I had that confidence to face people around me, but not to face the audience. Not to stand straight up straight and say whatever I want to, or what I had in my mind. I do not have the right weapons at that time to fight the monster. Well, I was all confident that maybe I'll go to this stage and I'll just rock it on. I was in front of my class and everyone was watching me. At that time, the monster came back. It was all over me. Mariam, what people are talking about you? Maybe they're thinking about you. What are you thinking? Will you able to do that? I don't think so. And trust me, it was not me at that time. I started reading my presentation just like I was reading a newspaper, a news reading. Even my teacher gave me the remark, Mariam, you're not a newscaster. Because my head was down and I was reading. I was just reading. I just forgot everything. What was it all about? And then comes an angel, which was already there, my father. I discussed this whole thing with him and I told him that, Abu, I don't know, but I cannot do this. I'm so worried. That whole time I was just walking in my drawing room and thinking what I did, what can I do, what is this, and how I'm going to come out of it. My father saw that and he came to me and he told me, what is this, Mariam? Why are you just running around? And I told him, Abu, it's nothing. You won't understand. And he said, okay. Maybe you're right. And he just walked away. And then after 5 minutes, he said, maybe you can try. Maybe I'll understand. Tell me. My father was so good in communication. He was so good. And later, I just told him everything. He said, okay, it's all right. Whatever happened has happened. You cannot change that thing. But what you can do is you can change your next speech, the next presentation. Tell me, when is your next presentation? I told him it's next week and let's see what happens. He said, okay. And I started writing things and what the project was according to that. And my father came to me. He told me, Mariam, next week is your presentation. Do you have anything? I said, Abu, this is the one. This is what I'm planning to give. And my father told me, okay, fine. Can you just tell me? And literally, he stood there in front of me and he said, told me one thing, take a deep breath. And I did. He said, relax. Always remember, there are only 2 persons listening to you in the whole hall or in the classroom. I said, who? You, yourself, and your teacher. That's it. Nobody knows what you're talking about. No one will be listening. And this is for sure, I'm telling you. And he was so true. The moment I realized the fact, I calmed down myself so much. And then he told me, what is the problem you think you face? And I told him, Abu, I don't know. When I look at the people around me, I feel they're just looking back at me and they're just talking about me and I'm not doing good. He told me, why are you looking at everyone? The first rule, if you're giving a presentation in front of the audience, you have to look only one person, and that one person you have to make sure is listening to you. And that is your teacher. Look at her. And trust me, that was because she was the only one who's just smiling and nodding her head. So I know that, okay, I'm telling her right. It's all right. She's listening at least. There were many tricks my father told me at that time. Later, I practiced it. One more important trick that I would like to discuss. He asked me, talk slowly. And this helped me in our ums and our counting. That's why my R counters are always low. Whenever I want to think, I take a pause. I start a new sentence and mix the other one. That's fine. If something we forgot in our meeting, in our speech, that's totally fine. Because it's only you who know your speech, no one else. No one can point out, you have forgotten that. Have you added that point or not? It's only you who knows it. My father taught me all these things. And trust me, at that time, pendulum was my best friend because I used to hide myself behind it. I used to stand on it and give my presentation. So no one can see my shaky legs. And my father told me, if you feel it's shaking too much, then make a talk and start walking and give your presentation by walking. In that way, if even you are feeling nervous, you start feeling confident. Trust me, because of this COVID, I am not sure how good I am with the audience or not. But my father's lessons were there always. Not only in that fear was the one that I had, there were many. I still have some fears. But yes, the weapon I have now, at that time I did not have, was the attitude to deal with it. Life comes up with many challenges. Every time, now and then, at every age. Are people living in Pakistan, Karachi, are not facing enough challenges? They are. Every time there's new. It's the people who are alone, who are away from home. Everyone having their own challenges. I was listening to a video with Steve Harvey and he said something very interesting. I would like to share you. He said, whenever you're in a life, you're going through a hill, keep going because you don't want to stop in a hill. You want to stop there. Problems, things, all these things, it's a package that comes with life. I have faced it a lot. There are situations and times where you will feel vulnerable. And trust me, there are many to come, if even you have faced it. But what is the key to just avoid those things? I have been vulnerable. I have seen people around. But you know, the best thing, when the time that you're vulnerable that passes out, is the time comes that teaches you who were the true people around. Because when you are vulnerable, when situations, and it's always situational, that will pass by when the situation finishes. But that teaches you an important lesson. Because when you are vulnerable, people will think that you don't know anything and you are not understanding these things, what they are telling to you, what they are saying to you. But you know everything and you understand more than you understand in real life because of the situation. But with that, when the situation and the time leaves you, you are left with lessons, people who are generous, who are sincere, who are real to you. And yes, you have that attitude that next time when something happens similar to you, you have all the courage to face that. We all fight with our fears all day. But what makes as different from others is the most important thing. The only weapon is attitude. We all have that monsters. Small, big, large. But there's one thing that I would like to say, all these fathers over here, as I can say, they're more men. What one thing you can give to your next generation, to your children? They will have that monster with them. My father, he did not stop me. He let me do whatever I think at that point in time was correct. But he made sure that he was standing there. So that whenever I fall down, he might not give me the hand, but a right way to stand up. So that whenever in life I fall down again, I know how to stand by myself. And this is what we don't teach our children. I feel this, that what mistakes we have made, we don't want our children to make. But how would they know that this is the mistake? Because by the time you'll be gone, they'll be starting making mistakes. And there'll be no one to tell them, you have made a mistake, now come on and stand up. Start making mistakes. Start fighting your fears, because fears comes when you start thinking, oh, we are making mistakes. That's fine to make a mistake. That's fine to have a monster, because sometimes, trust me, your monster somehow or the other helps you to get out of that situation. Because if that fear would not be there, you won't work hard. You won't try to even get out of that situation. I remember when I was in class 3 or 2 or 3, I was that small. By birth, I was, what you call in that English, I don't know, but I have that problem of tech. I was totally, I was called totally. And people used to make fun of me, and I used to take it in a fun, because at my home, my parents have never make fun of me or make things look bigger of that portion. But my father, somehow or the other, I know that he was quite concerned on this point. Though I had Maulvi Saab. Oh my God, at that time, I think now Maulvis are much better. They are the better version of what we had. But oh my God, at that time, he used to wear this scarf and this dadi, and every time he used to just scratch his dadi, and oh my God, horror, fear. Oh my God. So when it was 4 p.m., oh my God, Maulvi Saab is coming. I start praying, Allah mein nahi, Allah mein nahi, Allah mein nahi, Allah mein maasab nahi. I still remember that. I used to fear a lot from him. And my mother, I have asked her, me, why don't you ask him not to shout loudly? My mother had never said him anything. Because when my mom Saab used to sit with us in the drawing room, my mother and my grandma always. Even if my mother is not there, my grandma used to sit in the lounge where she can view us properly and listen what he is teaching. And my Imam Sahib, I tell you honestly, if you have any problem with your tongue, Quran is the best thing. And that fear of Imam Sahib also. Because at that time he's like, why make a ship out of your tongue? How can I make that? Say from your throat. It should come out from your throat. I said, it is coming out of my throat. But I used to take Tata Leo. It was that bad. I cannot say Khara, Pa, but he helped me somehow. That fear, that monster helped me. Because before he comes to after I come home from his school, I used to eat and then I practice. After I put my 2 fingers under my tongue and I twist that, then maybe I'm not twisting it right. I used to practice what can I say when he comes, how I'm going to twist it. Trust me, I can say brrr, now very straightly. And if I found out that people are making mistakes with r and k, they're very common mistakes, I just ask them to say brrr and they say bal. And that's how your tongue works. And my mom told me that. His fear, oh my God, that monster told me that. But yes, I have learned it hard way, but now my tongue is fine and clear. If that monster, that fear, would not be there, I might not be able to sit here and sharing my story. I would not have that confidence, because I remember how people used to tease me. And if at this age that problem would be there, I won't be able to face anything. Always work hard and see what your weaknesses are. Everyone knows your weaknesses, and be true to yourself. Tell yourself that, yeah, this is my problem. I have not completed this. Oh, this is my problem. Yes, I cannot speak properly. Oh, I cannot say this word. This pronunciation is too difficult. Whatsoever it is, be true to yourself. Whatever it is, tell yourself the truth. And trust me, your inside monster will help you out. Your inside monster will help you. My father, last line I would like to say to all of you. My father have told me one thing. Your weapon is your attitude. With your attitude, you can do anything you want. I can look confident. Maybe my legs are shaking, my voice is shaking, that hardly matters. If I'm looking confident to others, that's the key. That's it. Your attitude matters. Whenever you walk in the room, you make sure that everyone should know that you are here. And that's what I do in Telugu. That's it. So with that takeaway, your attitude is your weapon to kill that monster. I would like to open the mic for all of you, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mariam Aftaf, for allowing us to unleash our monsters and just let things go. So everyone, the floor is open for any questions or queries about the speech.
I think Toastmaster Latif has a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mariam, for a wonderful keynote speech enlightening us. My question is about how is your father helped being you, and now you as a mother helping your kids? Is it the way you are doing the same way, or you're just pushing in them to, just go ahead and perform? There are two characters you showed us, your friends who said jo hoga dekha jayega, and your father who motivated you how to cultured and give a good speech, how to speak. So which of the character you are following as a mother?
Well, thank you so much. Now here I would like to say that every child is different. No child comes with a manual, I hope. Otherwise, I would have read that. But yes, there's one thing, and that is very important, that I am not sure how good or bad of a mother I am, or how well I am helping my child. But I have made my child independent, in a sense that my daughter is now 1 year old, but by the time she was 4 months old, she was able to hold her bottle and feed herself. No, because when she started holding, her fingers were open and all, I started giving her bottles, and I tried to, because I want to make, and this is what I have think that, but till the time you do not let yourself open to things, you won't let the other person think of it. Box. That's the best. That's the one thing. My elder daughter, oh my God, she's so independent by nature, I would say, that I don't have to make her learn many things, but she knows how to do things herself. But yes, situation things do comes, and a mother is always conscious and fearful. That comes with the motherhood. You can't fight with that. But yes, one thing you can do is to help your child, to give them all the leverage. Trust them, and guide them accordingly.
Thank you very much. So any other questions, everyone? Yes. Toastmaster Shama.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster of the Evening, TTM Sir. Very nice, Toastmaster Mariam. The way you narrated your childhood memories, actually, about how your father helped you overcome your fear and get into the field. Tell me, I just want to know that when you were writing this content, did you write it or you just said it from your heart? Because it was so chronologically correct and everything from your childhood. Like now I'm remembering, oh, same Maulvi Saab. Yeah, I remember now. And things my father used to say, because with time you forget. So how did you prepare this content? And what did you think? And how much time did it take for you to prepare this content? I'm learning from you. Over to you.
Whatever I say, I had nothing written right now. Actually, I discussed that with Talha Saab and Sir Faraz Aziz sir. And I said that this is what my plan is. Because I know that we, in Toastmaster, we have common fear of speaking. And that's what I had. And this is something I can share. I can share my story, my father, how my father helped me. This might help others also. So when it comes to your father, to your life story, I think it just came out of it. So I just had bullet points in it.
Thank you very much. So everyone, yes.
Yeah, I would just like to add to, in response to Toastmaster Shamam's question, we had a discussion and, in yesterday's meeting, I made a certain remark. And at that point in time, we were in the midst of that discussion. So I convinced Toastmaster Mariam that since she can speak so effortlessly in table topics, she can do so 9 times in a row. She expresses herself so freely. She does not actually need to write each and every word down. So the process was that I asked her to come up with a theme and then with a story, with a structure. If you see the Keynote project, it has a structure, it has a list of bullet points. And you cannot realistically be expected to memorize an 18 to 22-minute speech, right? And if you do, it will end up sounding mechanical and not really like a keynote at all. So there's a slight leverage that you have in when you are doing a keynote, in that you have a little bit more time. You can go off on tangents, but you also need to stick to a structure and you have to bring the things back to where you started in order to make it meaningful. So this was the whole process behind it. And it all happened yesterday.
Thank you very much.
In fact, I could guess that because I was thinking that maybe after that she started working, but you're mentioning that it was midway. So saved from me, died from shock.
Thank you very much, everyone. So the time is actually up for the for the for the for the keynote and the question. And now I would like to move to the lead evaluator of the speech, who is distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid. So over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Let me introduce my panel also. So as earlier indicated, we have to make some tweaks in order for the evaluation to take place. So for this particular evaluation, we can go with one evaluation each, because Toastmaster Asghar is actually struggling with connectivity issues right now. So since he's also the lead evaluator in the second project, maybe we'll have to ask someone else to be the lead evaluator in that. So in that way, So in order to address that, we are right now going with one commendation and one recommendation each rather than two. So I will be the lead evaluator and I'll request DTM Sarfraz for commendations and DTM Saad for recommendations. Is that okay? So here is my evaluation. So Toastmaster Mariam, let me tell you, while we were discussing this project, this was exactly what I was anticipating, and you delivered. So kudos on that. Kudos on meeting the basic objectives of the keynote, which is to deliver something meaningful and hold the audience's attention for an extended period of time. Because this is what a keynote is all about. Started with a question, you started with a very nostalgic passage from your life, and we could see it, we could live it in your expressions, in your facial expressions, in your vocal expressions. And that is perhaps one of the advantages that we have with this online format. There's also a disadvantage which we'll come to later, but the advantage is that we are much more intimate with the speaker's facial and vocal expressions, and that sometimes adds tremendously to a speech, and it did to yours too. So your transitions throughout the speech were very well made. You made it sound very casual and very spontaneous, as Toastmaster Shamam felt, but one could see how you actually structured your speech between the various phases of your life. You started from your childhood and then your struggles throughout your school and beyond. And after that, you came to the lessons taught by your father. And after that, you delivered a call to action to all of us in a way, because we all now are, most of us are responsible for other human beings as well. The one thing that stood out about your speech was it was completely heartfelt. It was without any filters. It was without any pretensions. It was without any artificiality. And sometimes that's what we need to see in Toastmasters as well. We sometimes become so obsessed with perfecting and owning every speech and impressing the audience that somewhere along the line, we forget ourselves and forget about our message. So that was well done. Some improvement areas, in fact, since it was the longest speech, there are quite a few improvement areas. But again, none of them is a deal breaker. First of all, we all tend to do this. We shake our head like this whenever we're trying to make a point. Try to curb that tendency. We all have that. Even I do that. We don't do that in normal life because usually that's a style of the subcontinent, and we don't do that in normal life, but we end up doing that paradoxically in prepared speeches. So, that really takes away and distracts. And that is also one of the feedback that I got a few years earlier. And I've tried to curb that ever since. Your sitting position meant that there was a complete lack of movement. Perhaps a little more movement could have been welcome. That would have been the added spice on your content. You were constantly fiddling with your earphone, and that is something that is not to be encouraged. And at times, your voice became too low. So maybe you need to work on that aspect. When you were ending a sentence, and your ending sentence usually contained a key point or the whole crux of that thought, the voice became too low. So you need to curb that tendency of defaulting to a lower register while ending a sentence. And I know because I am also a victim of that. We need to curb that. And secondly, and lastly, you tend to go off into tangents, which is good to a certain extent, but then at times it becomes distracting from the speech. But overall, well done. And now I will hand over the charge to our commendation for today, DTM Sarfraz. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, DTM Talha. Congratulations, Toastmaster Mariam Aftab. You have graduated from a tabletop speaker to a keynote speaker. And I agree with DTM Talha that Keynote is simply 9 table topic speeches, which you have given during the past few weeks. What I liked about your presentation, your smile, but you did not smile throughout. In other words, when you were talking about some seriousness, challenges, you change your facial expressions, and that's good. You only smiled when it was necessary or when it meant something within your presentation. Your gestures, your facial expressions, your vocal variety. I could hear you. I like the fact that you presented your journey as a speaker, the lessons you learned from your father, and then you had a message for us, make mistakes, should teach our children. Very well done. Congratulations once again. And now you have another pin or a feather in your hat or cap that you are a keynote speaker. Back to you, just General Evaluator.
Thank you, DTM Sarfraz. Now I'll ask DTM Saad for recommendations. Over to you, DTM Saad.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lead Evaluator. Toastmaster Mariam, apologies in advance, but yes, that's my job to nitpick. Your speech was marvelous, but maybe when you were uttering those trolls or those dialogues, maybe just more vocal variety would have helped, but that was by far the only thing I could find. Best of luck for your next speeches. Over to you, Mr. Lead Evaluator.
Thank you so much, DTM Saad. And now we'll invite Toastmaster Mariam once again for 1 minute to give her feedback or a reaction to the evaluations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I mean, that was very encouraging. I am thankful that I gave this speech. And I hope that we all have some lessons to learn, maybe not the exact one, but there are points that we take up from others' lives and learn from them. So I hope that the takeaway would be there, and we let ourselves and our children be free to think and to do things. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mariam. And with that, I hand over the charge to the TMOD. But before handing over the charge, I need to inform the TMOD that now you are also the lead evaluator of Toastmaster Lateef's speech. I'm sorry. And the evaluation panel would be for commendation. I will be the commender. And for recommendation, we can have Toastmaster Mariam Aftab. So yeah, over to you, DTM sir. And Toastmaster Lateef, please share your evaluation sheet with DTM sir.
Yes, I have it already. I have it. So, fellow Toastmaster and guests, we are moving to the next prepared speech, which is by Toastmaster Lateef Mansoor Ali, and the lead evaluator of the speech will be myself. So the purpose of the project is for the member, and my phone is tracking. So just bear with me for a while. Okay. The purpose of the project is to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance the speech. The member has to choose to be evaluated on either on on the on the vocal on the vocal variety of the speech. So the speech length is 5 to 7 minutes, and the speech title is just one more time. Just one more time. Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. So over to you.
Back in year 1990s, Britney Spears, "Hit Me Baby One More Time" was a tremendous hit. And I followed that song so much that I try everyone giving me opportunity, "Hit me baby one more time." Toastmasters of the day, distinguished audience, and fellow heartbreakers. Fast forward, I went in 2000, and in Saudi Arabia, I learned few things. One which I tried as a travel agent, or at that time at the counter of a baker. What is that which makes them understand that we are also here to work? And fellow friends or colleagues of mine, they said, they only need 3 things. What is that? Until now, you don't know. This has been 4 years in Saudi Arabia to you. They need lots of money. Okay, what is there to be for me? And they need nice big luxury car and home. Understandable, that is fine. And they need whatever you understand. I'll keep it blank for you all. But he said, young girls. So this was what my understanding. For the first 2 points, I realized that yes, life is all about lots of money, nice luxury car and house. And that was the first aim which I came for. And that person, my friend, is still in contact with me. We try to discuss many things, but one thing which is common between me and us, not the passports. He's from India, I'm from Pakistan. We both are still without any property. So why is that we are still looking for more money, luxury car? I don't understand that theory. Because many people, they said, life is all about struggle and encouragement you give to yourself. And that take me back to my old days when I was a young and very energetic and good at heart. I start saving money. According to that salary, I wanted to save only 75 riyals. Now I have to make a plan to make that 75 riyal saved. So what I did, I was working in a shopkeeping store and a bakery. I used to take care of both of them. At the bakery, if you know, there is a shelf date. The product date has a shelf expiry, but it doesn't expire on that shelf on that date. So once it's that date comes, I used to take it with us and we all friends eat it. Because instead of throwing it to the garbage, it's better to have it. And then some of the good skills of mine, the how to explain that the dairy milk products guys who comes to deliver, they also have an expiry date. So he said, once I will come to take my product back once it's expired, we normally throw it. So at the midnight, if you have it, finish it, and just keep the empty bottle of milk with that date which is expired is good for me. Somehow, I managed to save 75 riyals. I happily ran and called my mother. That time I used to give one joke, and joke was, Mama, how you are sleeping if I'm awake? It was a time difference, but I used to make it always in a fun. My mother used to tell me, Latif, I'm missing you. And we start talking. I in tears, she in tears. The money which I saved, 75 riyals, went in the telephone bill. So I figured out that very moment, whatever struggle you do, you are not going to have it in hand. So that person of me died in September 30th of this 2021. And then this newborn child has come, who is left out with everything, all the energies at work, but one thing, he's not bothered about money. Now it comes to my son. And here I got that Britney Spears. Just one more time. Just one more time, I told my son, please don't bank on me. Whatever I have, it's for me, my Netflix, and Toastmaster journey whenever I return back to Pakistan. But that's not for you. He gave me a nice gift. And the gift is that he turned out to earn a 70% scholarship in Nixer A-levels, which is a huge success for me. I hurriedly ran to my office and said, today my son has started earning. And I always, as a Toastmaster, draw a line saying, as we say, every money saved is every money earned. And that is what happened when they asked for party and I said, didn't you hear that? Every money saved is every money earned. So no parties, guys. Yes, today I learned the value of money or the advice, not by earning, but at least making someone, my own son, be responsible for his own future. So ladies and gentlemen, every time when you knock the door for something, just do it one more time. Toastmaster of the day. I got late.
Yes, you got late. So thank you very much, Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali, for that engaging and exciting speech. So I'll now begin my evaluation. So here it goes. Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali, for the you did something very very different in the speech, which which most of us don't do. You 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 began the speech by actually telling us all how old you are. So that 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 had our attention right away. And you gave the reference of Britney Spears and many other, which made sure we were engaged in that speech throughout. The purpose of the speech was first to exaggerate your vocal variety, and trust me, throughout your speech from start till end, you had amazing vocal variety. The way you added the characters and all, and you change your voice according to each and every one of them. You use this online meeting to enhance your speech by coming forward, and then going back, which added that other dimensions in the speech, and frankly, I could not find any room for improvement. So I let Toastmaster Mariam do it, and with that, it's over to the speech commendation by distinguished Toastmaster Safra Nazir. So over to you, sir, if you're available.
Who's the lead evaluator?
I am.
Distinguished Toastmaster Sanchit.
Okay. Mr. Time, are we ready?
Sir, it's actually the speech
Commendation, sir.
commendation.
But if you want, you can do recommendations, sir.
No, I'll go. Commendation. Yeah, I like the manner, the demeanor. You appear to be having fun. You know, there are times when the speaker is giving a speech, looks like, it's a duty, but you seemed to be enjoying giving a speech. I like the fact that you had movements moving left and right. You used the space very well, and nice pace. Could understand you're not too fast, not too slow, no too long pauses. And it's been a while since I've heard you, but comparing to your speeches from past, this was very well delivered. There was something about you, meaning you were enjoying giving the speech, you knew your material, and you had emotion behind it. Very well done, Toastmaster Latif.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmasters Sarfaraz Nazir. So we'll now move on to the recommendations by Toastmaster Mariam. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Well, when it comes on recommendation of such speeches, it's a task. I mean, no, I have to think. I was so hooked up during this speech. But one thing, let me tell you, Mr. Saad, maybe he have showed you what age he is, but he don't look that old, huh? That's a compliment. But thank you, Latif Saab, for I now have one recommendation. You have to see the timing and you have to conclude your speech under that. I got one. I'm giving you that, but truly, I had my paper and pen ready to write down anything, but I could not find it. So well done. Very good. Just the timing, I would like to recommend that.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mariam. So now is the time for the feedback by Toastmaster Latif Mansur Ali. So over to you.
Thank you, Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmaster Saad Shoaib. Actually, if I have to judge my speech, I had a lot of errors. Let me tell you two things. One, when I was explaining about my friend, I missed out that where I was and where he was. And I forgot it in between. I should be over there while talking to what I felt, but I stood at one place. So that was one error. Secondly, I left a long time just for a closing and did not close well. So this was my takeaway for my speech. Thank you very much for encouraging me. Thank you very much for just giving me an opportunity. I know Wednesdays are too hectic for me to come, but yes, an advanced evaluation where you get a feedback of a thorough speech. Thank you very much once again for encouraging. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Latif Mansur Ali, for that feedback about your speech. And yes, we'll move on to the next speaker, who is distinguished Toastmaster Sarfaraz Nazir, and he will be evaluated by the lead evaluator, who is Toastmaster Latif Mansur Ali again. So are you there? Toastmaster Latif.
I think he has briefly gone away.
So we'll have a change.
I'm in.
He's okay. So just a little bit of a change once again. So lead evaluator is Toastmaster Latif. So I will be timing once. Sorry, Toastmaster Latif, I hope you saw the agenda, right?
I saw it, but I didn't see my name over there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's right at the bottom in fine print. All right. Yeah. So you are the lead evaluator. For commendation, what I would like is if I can enlist Toastmaster Shamam. And for for commendation, like I will do the commendation, and for recommendation, I'll request Toastmaster Shamam to fill in for the missing panelists, which were actually Toastmaster Asghar and Toastmaster Izaz. So it is all reconfigured. So that will be the panel, Toastmaster Latif. For commendation, I will be there, and for recommendation, Toastmaster Shamam. And don't worry, I will do the timing for the entire thing. So at least you have that.
Okay. If you feel that I am a bit confused, yes, I am. So no surprises, no prizes for the guessing. Today, ladies and gentlemen, our speaker is a renowned or well-known. He has made his name not at Karachi Toastmasters Club, but now in other clubs of District 122 and districts where he belongs in USA. He is now a well-trained, I believe, a speaker who gives advice to the contestants on stage for the year 2022 also. What we witnessed, and I know some of the contacts what he has with them. He himself is a world champion speaker. He was the semi-finalist. Let's bring him back to stage one, where we all Toastmasters learn about speaking. Distinguished Toastmaster Sarfraz Nazir is going to embark on his Pathway Innovative Planning Level 5, and it is a HPL project. Speech length will be about 5 to 7 minutes. Today he is going to explain about his project, what is the team and what is his vision and mission. Speech title. Timer, please note, 5 to 7 minutes. Speech title. Let the contest begin. Sarfraz Nazir, let the contest begin.
Thank you, Toastmaster Latif and fellow Toastmasters. HPL, High Performance Leadership. The purpose of this project is for a Toastmaster to practice leadership skills. But more than applying leadership skills, what I'm learning in this project is the politics that we have within Toastmasters. Some of you might be able to relate to that. Knowing that at some point, Toastmaster International is going to require me to serve 1 year term as a district officer. I volunteered my services to be an area director to fulfill that requirement. By the time I gave thought to this, District 25 had already selected all the area directors. And that's the area where I'm living. On my right side or east side of my city is Dallas, District 50. So I volunteered to be a district director. The area that I was assigned had 4 clubs last year. But in June, when I attended the district executive committee meeting, I found out there were now 5 clubs in the area. And out of those 5 clubs, only 1 club was in this area. 4 clubs had been moved from other areas because of alignment. Then in July, I find out they have added a 6th club. They didn't know where to add that club. On June 18th, when we met, we selected the dates. On Friday, area contest season begins. My contest is scheduled for the 16th. My project is to organize the area speech contest, which includes table topics contest and humorous speech contest. Out of the 6 clubs that I have 1 club that only has 7 members. So they're not eligible to compete unless they get the 8th. This club only has 3 officers who are serving 4 officer positions. So I'm in touch with them, trying to see if they can add 1 more member within the next few days and then appoint someone or select someone to represent the club in the contest. I also have 1 club that has 26 members. They're all lawyers, wakils. I think they just use Toastmasters as an excuse to form the club because they're not involved in Toastmasters at all. They did not turn in their officer list last year, so I did not know who the officers were. Then on July 1st, when I went to Toastmasters International website, again, no officer list. But I do have a membership list for members within my area. So I sent an email to all of the club members, special email to 3 of them. They did not respond. I was trying to find out who the officers are. They do not give speeches. Yes, they do give speeches, but not from Pathways, either old manuals or just a speech. Mostly it's a social club, 26 members. They're very successful when it comes to membership, but they have no interest in achieving any goals. 0 goals achieved in Distinguished Club program last year. 0, nil, nada. So I have a feeling that I'm not going to hear from them. And I'm not going to waste my time trying to chase them. So that leaves me with 4 clubs. I have visited all these 4 clubs. 3 of them meet online, and then 1 is meeting in person. I was in the process of finding a place somewhere downtown Dallas where my clubs are to hold a contest. Then direction came from Toastmasters International. Oh, you cannot have in-person contests. You have to make a decision. Online only or hybrid. The district officers must have had a meeting. I'm talking about the top trio and some of their friends, that they are going to go with hybrid. But they couldn't impose that on the entire district. So district executive committee got together to decide how we should conduct these. The plan was all area contests will be online, but the division contest and the district contest will be hybrid. During the meeting, several people had issues. Oh, COVID is still there. People are getting sick. We don't want to meet in person. Or then some say, oh, we don't know how to conduct a hybrid meeting. So what happened? They voted it down. New proposal, all contests throughout the district will be online. And that passed. But I think it upset. Because when people are saying, well, we don't know how to be a Zoom master, they said, no, we got Zoom masters in the district. We have lined up. You don't have to worry about it. Now that all contests are online, we are on our own. I have to find my own Zoom masters. And I hardly know anyone in my clubs that I've been assigned to. But I have found one Zoom master. I found a timer. I found a district chief judge. And I asked him, hey, can you send me the list of chief judges so I can select one? I never heard from him. So I contacted some of my friends, and one agreed to be chief judge as long as I help her to find judges, because she said, I don't have time. I said, okay. Then the district chief judge came along. He said, oh, we have 55 chief judges. I'm assigning. So we have signed a new chief judge. I said, okay. So the person that I asked for her to be chief judge, she's upset. She said, oh, why? I said, I don't know. They just told me that they've assigned me a chief judge. So my team has a chief judge. Then I contacted one of my club members, and she's recently won the district tall test champion. So I asked her, would you like to be the contest master? Because she's funny. She called me and said, okay, but she wanted to know, why did I ask her to be? So I had to give a mini speech, like a table talks, 1 to 2 minutes, why I asked her to be. And I said, well, because you're funny, you have a nice demeanor, you have a good attitude, you smile a lot, and that's the kind of Toastmaster I want. So I have my team in place. I have the date. I don't have to select a place because it's going to be an online. And I hope to come back and give a speech about how the contest went. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmasters, Sarfaraz Nazir. So we'll move to the lead evaluator, who is Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. So over to you.
Toastmaster of the day, thank you once again for inviting me. Distinguished Toastmaster Sarfaraz Nazir, today your speech was all about your HPL project. Now what I know, I'm sorry, I'll take a Toastmaster manual as a Bible. And in that Bible, there is we call it as the guidance committee, and then your vision and your plans and how to execute. So in your short speech of 5 to 7 minutes, I found out that you are struggling a lot to get organize the event, the clubs which are good in numbers but not in participation, and the club which wants to do good but they don't have numbers. So you have a lot of challenges happening and going forward towards the HPL project. But for the audience over here, we felt that the date was not announced. I will be very blunt if I will say that had you just mentioned it, upcoming contest, and we would have understand, because at few minutes of your speech, I felt like, are you talking about something which you have already delivered? Or are you going to deliver this contest, which is going to happen in December way forward? But that was the only challenge which I felt as a speaker, knowing it to your content. Likewise, you've always delivered a speech which is easy to the audience, understandable, imagine, and the way you create the hype of troubles. Like, for example, as you said, lawyers, they give speeches, but not for the projects. I felt it that, yes, I'm seeing someone, a champion speaker who has, showing it or seeing it on its eyes and giving it. Lastly, but not the least, I felt one place where I'm sorry for this, but the lady which you brought in, you did not define her character. I would have loved to see her coming in, like she enforced me to ask. And then I said, had I any other people to choose from, I would have selected you, because you have the glimpse of action, comedy, the spontaneous look you have, or the beautiful dressing you emerge, or you are specially for the camera, anything. I know you could have made it something better for us to feel or know that character. And in the end, you could have dropped it over there, like, though I was just praising her to be the contest chair. Other than that, I felt one thing which is not usual. I felt you were never used to wear this earheads. Yes, and you and that bounded you to stay at one place, and we could not find that energy where distinguished Toastmaster Sarfaraz Nazir says, no, this event has to happen. I had to go here, and that energy of gestures were missing. Anyhow, overall, a good speech. I love it. Good luck for the HPL project. I am struggling at one stage to get through one of my HPL project, but somehow I will make it. Let's hear it loud from the commendation, which is Toastmaster Shamam Khan. No, okay.
Yeah.
Commendation is from distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, DTM Sarfraz, it was an intriguing speech for me, and we got to see a side of you that we don't usually experience. But it was like a perfect cup of cappuccino. It was well decorated. It had floral patterns, and the first layer from the top was beautiful, frothy foam, and after that, steamed milk. But underneath, there was bitterness. And I love the way how you package it all, because we all know, especially as leaders, especially as district leaders or club leaders, how ugly these things can get when you are pursuing people and they're not responding. But you wrapped it up in a very attractive package of sarcasm and humor and the ability to laugh at yourself and others. And that is something thoroughly admirable. So it did not become a rant, but it became a guide for all of us. So absolutely fantastic job, DTM Sarfraz. And over to you, lead Evaluator.
Toastmaster Shamam Khan for her recommendation for distinguished Toastmaster Sarfraz as a speech.
Okay, thank you, lead evaluator, Toastmaster Lateef. Cynthia would have been very happy if she has seen me giving recommendations. But what I observe, I feel that I should point out as my responsibility to give recommendations. While the heart-wrenching story of politics being in there, in your efforts for project planning, I see that the mention of guidance committee and a clear mention of the vision was missing. You did touch upon it in a subtle manner. I would say in a superficial manner. If I am trying to look for a vision, I don't find it in your speech. Although it was there, you had touched upon it, like I said, in a subtle manner, in a superficial manner, but not clearly stated. This is the requirement of your speech project, first speech. So maybe I'm thinking that if the things you have been facing through the project, the turmoils and all, if you had a guidance committee in place and if you had a clear vision, you might have saved yourself. Over to you.
Distinguished Toastmaster Sarfraz Nazir, now it's your time to grill us in 1 minute.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lateef. Well, the guidance committee will be the district trio, and I think they're upset because we did not go with their proposal. So we are now left on our own. And the flyers have to be sent to them for approval, and then they're posted on the district website, which I have already done that. And it takes them more than a week for them to approve and process something. So I am basically left on my own. My committee is the people that I am trying to form the team. I am sorry that I was not clear about the vision. Vision is just to have a good contest. That's all. Have a good contest where I get 4 contestants in each from the 4 clubs, not to mention the other 2. As far as Lateef, you mentioned this thing. Yeah, I had these in my ear one time, and then I tried to move, and I knocked the external microphone off. It made a lot of noise. It is 2:30 in the morning. I do not want to wake up my wife. So I have to have these on, be very quiet, like a mouse. This is not the type of speech that I give. I usually give speeches that are inspirational, motivational, international speech contest style speeches. So this was a challenge. And Toastmaster Shamam, this was not written. I just thought, okay, I have to give a speech, and okay, I had to give more background since the project in District 50 and District 21, 22 members are not familiar with District 50. So I had not enough time to talk about the project itself. So I'm going to improve a little bit and then give a speech on how the project went and how the area contest went. If I have a successful contest, the project will be successful. Thank you. Back to you, lead evaluator.
Thank you very much, my team and our speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Sarfraz Nazir. Back to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much to everyone. So with that, it brings us to the end of a very entertaining prepared speech part, and now we'll move on to the next part, which is the general evaluation session, and that will be conducted by the general evaluator, who is distinguished Toastmaster Tala bin Hamid. So over to you.
Thank you so much. And DTM Saad has very kindly informed me that he's prepared the polls for this meeting as well. In these meetings, sometimes we do have the polls and sometimes we don't, but today we will. So I request DTM Saad to float the poll while, yeah, wait. I will have to float the polls, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
distinguished
Yeah.
Toastmaster Talab bin Hamid, I'm already disqualified, right? Or you have qualified me?
Yes, you are actually disqualified.
So
You
we
went
have
like
to- yeah,
12
we have-
seconds. Yeah. So no worries. I will ask the audience to vote to choose between Toastmaster Mariam Aftab and DTM Sarfraz.
Okay. We have her also as a.
So yeah, it's only fair. It's an advanced meeting. So, and Toastmaster Hiba is not presiding. So
We can save time, not have to vote. I would like to nominate the best speaker, Toastmaster Mariam Aftab Kidwai, because I talked to her earlier and told her that she could do the keynote and she delivered well.
Oh yes.
if everyone agrees to that, I have absolutely, yeah.
Had it not an area contest, I would have argued.
All right. So I'm just floating the poll for best round robin evaluation first, and everyone please vote. And in the meantime, let me call upon the language evaluator, which was conveniently myself. So I will start with the language evaluation. Meanwhile, the polls happen. So starting with the keynote, some good usage. I grabbed the mic and you actually delivered that very passionately. Then an apple a day keeps the doctor away. That was a motive during the first part of your speech. Very well used. And then when you said to maybe your father, nothing, you don't understand. It was so familiar coming from the females in our life, whether they are spouses or mothers or daughters or sisters, nothing, you won't understand. So yeah, kudos on that. So when you said, so your father was so good in communication. So the way you built it up, we were expecting something, clearly he was outstanding, right? Or he was splendid, or he was brilliant. So you get my drift, right? So good was kind of an anticlimax after you built up the hype for how good a communicator your father was. So maybe you needed to specifically identify a word to describe his communication prowess. Then you said life comes up with many challenges at every age, and that is so profound because we are all told that, just get through this and then everything will be fine, and everything is never fine. It gets worse. So yeah, I believe many of us can identify, but that was well put. Then you said, although it was a quotation, if you're going through hell, keep going. That was perfectly used. And the first poll has ended. And I'm floating the poll for best lead evaluator. Okay. All right. Now, we don't want our children to make the same mistakes as we did. And that is also something we constantly tell ourselves. And that also ties into something Toastmaster Latif said in his speech when he told his son that, son, you're on your own. I'm not responsible for your entire life. And that is something we need to tell ourselves. And this was, once again, a very profound thought. Yes, they will make mistakes. They are supposed to make mistakes. That's how they will get through life, just like we did. They cannot have an extraordinary life without any mistakes, without any trouble, because no one ever has that kind of life in the entire history of humanity. Then you said, you repeated certain phrases towards the second half of your speech, like, oh my God, oh my God. So yeah, once or twice it was nice, but then it distracted a little bit. So maybe you need to curb that. Then we come to the first prepared speech, the second prepared speech by Toastmaster Latif. You use some of the good skills of mine. I love that phrase, some of the good skills of mine. And then when you said, somehow I managed to save 75 reals, you said, somehow I managed, and then you said to save 75 reals. So it was a good linguistic technique to build up to something grand and bringing us down to earth. Very well done. Then you told your son, please don't bank on me. And that is a catchphrase we should all tell our children every day. Please don't bank on us. And why do I find that interesting? Because your whole speech was about saving and banking money. And then you told your son, please don't bank on me. You get where I'm going with this. It is so profound and well connected with everything in your speech. It was mind-blowing. And we should tell our children that, try as we might, we cannot live their life for them. We cannot build everything for them. At some point, they will have to do something for themselves. And that is why they should not bank on us, because life is unpredictable. Then DTM Surfaz. And of course, your speech was too full of good language usage as always. I've just handpicked a couple of instances. You said at times it appears like a duty when you're talking about speakers. Some speakers, when they're speaking, at times it appears they're performing a duty. That was so well put and so well conveyed. Like you gave the voice to what many of us feel after listening to such speeches. And then you use zero, nil, nada, and that was like absolutely fantastic expression, like just 3 words, and it conveyed every bit of your frustration. Although you missed out on zilch. Usually we add zilch at the end. You could also have added cipher. It would have added another flair. So yeah, because in Toastmaster speeches, now we are very open to using phrases from languages all around the world. We are much more familiar with them. So this is something that has changed over the past decade or so. So you'll frequently hear people using Italian phrases, French phrases, Latin phrases. So why not other languages? A few errors. I could not note all the errors though, but tried my best. So someone said shopkeeping shop could have been a convenience store or something like that. Someone said we all friends could have been all of us. All in a fun could have been in good fun. And money went in the telephone bill. Money was spent making calls, something like that. Then one speaker, when they talked about transforming from one kind of person to another, they said that person died and then a new one was born. So that is perhaps too dark an analogy to use. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But in the context of the speech, it was maybe too dark of an analogy. You could have used something much more optimistic, like the person was kind of a caterpillar or larva, and it blossomed, and he blossomed into a butterfly. Something much more optimistic. So that's just a suggestion, and it's not, it was not an error as such. And in one of the evaluations, it was said, how old are you? So this is 2022. You're not supposed to call old people old. You're not supposed to call men men and women women. You're not supposed to call Asians Asians and white people white and black people black. No, not at all. You're not supposed to call children children. So because everybody everywhere is getting ready, is perfectly ready to be offended and to, you know, make a mess out of you if you say. So that was a very politically incorrect word. How old are you? It could have been, you told us your age. That would have been, but then people would have asked you, okay, is there something wrong with the age of this person? I mean, is it too much or too little? What makes you authorized to comment on someone's age? So yeah, zip it. So that was the language evaluation to the best of my ability. And once again, I hand over the charge to the journal evaluator and the timer. So Toastmaster Latif, anything you need to highlight from your timing session?
With regards to timing, I only maintained one of the timer speech, which is the first prepared or the keynote speech. I did the timing of that and everything was well on time, no errors in that. Secondly, I just wanted to add one thing, if time allows. I had written it, that one phrase which I felt I have given it to my son, but I will keep repeating because this generation, you know, you have to keep telling them. So I have written it and I kept it on my camera also, that I will say it. But I don't know, after seeing that red light, I could not even thought of it. So it was like, if you want to take care of if you take care of yourself, you are taking care of your parents. So you don't have to, we are not asking much. We are not asking too much from you. You just take care of yourself, be happy, whatever you are doing. This is in return, we will think that you are taking care of your parents. This is what I wanted, and I will keep telling him. So until he memorizes it in his head. Thank you very much, and over to you, General.
That is beautiful, Toastmaster Latif. And again, I see another speech around that concept. In fact, the whole concept of the new generation being entitled and expecting too much and expecting everything to be handed to them in a silver platter. I know every time in every era this has been said, but I believe today perhaps it's truer than ever because we see our own children under that mindset. They want everything to be handed to them without any hard work. So yeah, there is a speech in there somewhere, Toastmaster Latif, and I insist that you make it in a near future. It can even be a keynote. So how the new generation is essentially a giant crowd of Karens. So, you know, Karens, the kind of people who are entitled, who at the drop of a hat asked to speak with the manager. So yeah, that's who they are. So anyhow, enough of my rants and on to the general evaluation. First of all, I need to thank the three speakers today. All three delivered amazing content, and it was as good or perhaps better than our open house meetings of KTC, because all three speeches were exceptionally thought-provoking. And one could really feel that all three speakers were operating on an advanced level. So congratulations to all three speakers, especially Toastmaster Mariam, as DTM Sarfraz pointed out, and he is very sharp with these analogies and seeing patterns. I've always said that. You graduated straight from table topics to a keynote. There are a few speeches in between too. So maybe consider making them now. Now that you're a keynote speaker, speeches should be easy enough for you, right? So, but one has to admire your confidence and your passion and the way you laid it all out on the screen. So absolutely fantastic job. And the way you managed the time. I remember you were concerned about the time, and I told you that You don't need to be concerned. And the way you manage the segments and the way you ended right when within the yellow light, absolutely fantastic. And it was a perfectly rounded ending. It was not abrupt. Just when some speaker adds, just sees the light and just ends. So amazing job. And we saw from Toastmaster Latif a rare misstep, something that he rarely does, and that is exceed his time. So Toastmaster Latif, maybe you need to, again, I'm not one, if every once in a blue moon a speaker exceeds by 10 or 12 seconds, to me, it's not a big deal, right? And I believe expression and the ability to express yourself, to be with this community and to speak with this community is far more important than a few seconds or minutes. And that's a view I've always subscribed to. Some people may disagree with that, but I don't put timing on the top. But my main beef with you, Toastmaster Latif, is that you could have easily ended the speech but you somehow kept speaking. So if your natural conclusion lay after 7 minutes and 40 seconds, I would not have highlighted it. But I have a sensation that you could have easily ended, but somehow you kept speaking. And that is a trap we all fall into every now and then, and we end up exceeding our times. So that was it. The evaluations were great, and I'm especially grateful to all the role players who took up roles, and of course to Toastmaster Shamam, who took up the last minute round robin role, and she did it amazingly well. So overall, absolutely fantastic meeting, and I am absolutely grateful to have been part of this meeting. And also, let me just say that we need to celebrate and be thankful for being part of this meeting. We need not concern ourselves how many people attended, because that's a constant question in virtually every online Toastmasters meeting that I attend, whether in Pakistan or elsewhere, that, how many people are attending, whether we have enough people attending. Once the meeting starts, the only people that matter are who are inside the meeting. And that's who we should care about. And we are all here for mutual learning, and that camaraderie, that interaction is not affected by the number of people that we have. So thank you so much once again. And that was my journal evaluation, and also perhaps, thankfully, the presidential address. So I would just ask two of our guests to share their thoughts about the meeting. Toastmaster Irfan Farooqi, yes, you wrote that you are lying in bed, but you can still speak, right? So please share your thoughts about the meeting.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm particularly very thankful for you that you didn't ask me to switch on my camera, because as I said, I'm lying in my bed. Today was a very fantastic day, particularly Sarfaraz Saab. Whenever I hear from him, it's a marvelous speech. It is a good learning for me. And Toastmaster Shamam, she was very good. I have heard Toastmaster Mariam Aftab for the first time. I couldn't hear her from the beginning, but the last portion, very confident, surprised. And I would love to involve her in our club meetings as well, because she was very good at speaking. So overall, it was a very good experience to be here today. I would love to attend this Saturday morning meetings in future as well, if you allow me not to switch on my camera. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Irfan. And yes, by definition, we cannot close off any Toastmaster meeting to anyone, so you're more than welcome to attend. And although we would love for you to turn on your camera and deliver a speech too sometime, but again, absolutely welcome. These meetings happen every other Saturday. We have Toastmaster Zahara Ibrahim. Please share your thoughts.
Yes, so it was a wonderful meeting as always, and listening to such great speakers like DTM Sarfaraz, TM Latif. Although I've missed Toastmaster Mariam's Kidwai speech, which I hopefully will find on YouTube, so I will watch it later. And moreover, it was a wonderful speech by DTM Sarfaraz, because I heard it like throughout from the beginning till the end. So if you allow, if you have 2 minutes, I can even conduct a quiz from his speech. If you people allow.
Toastmaster Zahra, if you can hold off for a few seconds, we have
Sure.
someone very, very special who has just joined, DTM Nazir, World Championship semi-finalist and District 79 champion. Sir,
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I'm sorry, very much sorry, Talha, for coming late because I was planning, I put it on my agenda and got busy with the grandchildren. You know, my story in my basement. They keep you busy, you know, especially if you don't have school. But I missed it. Maybe you can help me by sharing the link of the recorded session. I would love to hear it. And I will visit you again. I'm so honored to be part of this Karachi.
Thank you so much, DTM Nazir. We are just honored for a few seconds attendance. We are so thrilled, and we would love for you to attend again and again. And yes, I will be sharing the recording with you most certainly. But let me congratulate you on your performance in the World Championship on all our behalf. And
Shukran jazeelan.
Of course, after every World Championship, there's an endless debate on results. But one thing that I think we can safely say is that what you delivered was not only one of the best speeches, but perhaps one of the best speeches that you have ever made. And it was genuine passion and expression in your speech. So ultimately, that's what counts, inspiring the audience, whether you receive a trophy or not. But we are so honored to have hosted you and maybe made a little bit of contribution towards your preparation.
You did, sir. Thank you so much.
And we need to thank you for granting us those 2 speeches, because both the speeches were absolutely fantastic. They were great learning for all of us, and they had great life lessons. So thoroughly grateful, sir. And you're more than welcome. You can consider yourselves as one of our members. If you need to deliver a project, we are open for you anytime. Thank you so much.
Shukran jazeelan. Assalamu alaikum. Shukran.
So Toastmasters Zahra, now you can conduct the quiz.
Okay. So Toastmaster DTM Sarfaraz talked about an area director, like district dash selected all the area directors. So which district was it? In
56.
Speech, can you repeat?
56. 56.
No.
25.
It wasn't speech. No.
25.
It was, yeah.
25.
Yeah.
There were 2 numbers only.
Yeah. So the other one, he talked about one of the place where the district dash was near to Dallas. District dash, which district?
District.
Let me help you guys. 5.
50.
Yeah, good. So moreover, so he talked about one of the club where all the lawyers are there. So how many members they have?
26.
Nice.
12. 20.
Yeah, 26. So moreover, there was dash and dash contest, which was hybrid.
Table topics and tall tales. No.
Okay. Division and.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Division and district. So all it was a wonderful speech, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. DTM Sarfaraz, and moreover, where you talked about different dates, July 18 we met. So you could have added like an year. So has it been done, or it's future, or what? So it will give more clarity. Although it was a wonderful speech. So thanks very much for the opportunity. I just spoke a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the advantage with academy meetings is everyone's a critic.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
And let me do a quiz on the quiz of Toastmasters Zahra. What is Toastmasters Zahra's favorite word?
Can you repeat?
What is Toastmaster Zahra's favorite word to use?
So,
There are two, not one.
You used one today. Yeah.
so
Oh, that's disappointing. Like, Toastmaster Zahra used moreover like 20 times today. So yeah, that's your favorite word to use. But thank you so much for that lovely listening session. And if you joined earlier, that would have made for an absolutely fantastic listener session. Usually we don't have that in these meetings, but if we do find someone. So once again, Toastmasters Zahra, to you as well. The club is open if you want to make a speech or do a role. It's open to you. Thank you so much. So now I'm declaring the meeting officially closed, and